Have you been considering using Wealthfront as your investment vehicle and want to find some information or find out if it lives up to the hype? I'm Wanderer001 and I have been using Wealthfront as my primary investment vehicle for both my retirement and general investing for over 8.5 years. Yes, I do have one of the longest track records on YouTube currently. And if you're curious to see how things have been going, over there in the corner, I will have a link to the playlist showing you the evolution of the platform and how it got to where it is today. If you're coming here for a best of quick hits and want to see the investment returns, I'll have that timestamped in the video. If you're curious as to what Wealthfront has been up to in the latter half of 2024, well, to start things off, just like everywhere else, their APY on their cash accounts has steadily dropped. It is currently sitting at 4%, but yes, there is the possibility for a 0.5% bonus, which I'll talk to you about at the end of the video on how you could get that for yourself as well. Wealthfront hasn't been just twiddling its thumbs. It has come out with several new product and changes to their site as well. They introduced the bond ladder, which I did open and we'll show you a little later. They made changes to their joint accounts where now both parties can have access to the account rather than setting somebody as the primary. For your cash accounts, if you use the ATM feature, you can now be reimbursed up to $7.50 per withdrawal twice a month, meaning you have more options to withdraw your money from your high-yielding cash account. Wealthfront also introduced the combined view. So if you're like me, I just manually put in my wife's information to give me a broad idea of how we were doing. Now, there's a separate tab where you can have yourself and a significant other or somebody else, their information together, and keep yours separate if that's how you wanted to view things, which is a nice change. Wealthfront also introduced free instant withdrawals using the RTP or real-time payment network. So if you fall into one of over 1,000 external banks for transferring your money out, you can do it, they say, instantaneously. For me, when I tested it on New Year's Day, and it took 5 minutes for Wealthfront to take my money out. However, for my institution where it was going to, it did take a day to clear. Wealthfront does have a full list of participating banks if you need to know if your bank qualifies. One thing with the fast transfers, there is no limit on the number of withdrawals you can make each day. However, the totals cannot exceed more than $50,000. If you try and transfer $50,000, they will do it via ACH, which is the normal way of doing it. Wealthfront introduced their S&P 500 direct indexing, which will allow you to own each individual stock of the S&P 500 rather than an index fund, if that's what you like. However, you do need to have $20,000 in your account in order to be able to access that. And last but not least, Wealthfront has not just been making headway, but they have had a few setbacks. At the end of November, I got an announcement, even though I wasn't invested in it, but I did get a notification from Wealthfront saying that they were going to be winding down their Wealthfront Risk Parity Fund. So that was a fund that Wealthfront started several years ago, and I guess it just has not been performing as they would like. So they were going to be winding that down. So I would say that's the one step back that Wealthfront had at the end of 2024. Coming into my Roth IRA, I did another year of a backdoor Roth. Yes, if you watched my previous video, I said I would move this to a different account and transfer it out of Wealthfront, not because I was dissatisfied with it, but because I had to do the backdoor, so I wasn't really getting the benefit of dollar cost averaging. A lot has happened in 2024 for me, so I did not get the opportunity to do so. For those who are wondering, this is set up at a 6.5 risk score with some minor tweak to lower the bond position and strengthen the stock position. Now, one thing I did notice when I was doing the backdoor Roth, you do have to open a traditional Roth account. They have made changes to their investment methods, which if I wanted to, I would have to approve for the traditional account. What it looks like is they are lowering their corporate bond position and replacing it with TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Security. Now, I haven't had any prompts to do that for my Roth IRA, but in the traditional account, you may be prompted with their new methodology to save your tax. If we come up here, we could see my overall lifetime for the Roth IRA. It's up 112%. Again, this is going back all the way to 2016. If we come in here, we could look at our time-weighted return. Previously, it was 91.40, and now you can see we are up to the 12.75%. Our money-weighted previously was 66.21. We are currently sitting at 92.61, and we have received a total of 7,600 dividends. That does not show the appreciated value of the account, but you can see that via the dotted line versus the solid line up here. And if we pop over you could see just when I threw in the money, the market kind of started going down. So this is a good example of performance effect over the long run if you do max sums of money instead of dollar cost averaging in. Here I have my investment account, which I have been dollar cost averaging into. You can see got total tax loss harvesting of $471. And if we come in here, time weighted previously was 70.76. We are now at 89.45. So we're on the up. Money weighted previously was 66.95, and we are currently at 95.25. So again, we're in the green, and then dividends earned. So this one is an example of what you could do if you dollar cost average into something. I have been putting less in here as I have been focusing on the joint account, which I opened up last. So here we go. Joint account. Last year when I was doing everything, we were kind of in the red. Currently, we have tax loss harvested $10.28. And if we look at our all-time, time weighted last year was negative 2.9%. And here we can see we are up to 8.85. And our money weighted last year was negative 2.41%, and we are up to 8%, and we have received $80 in dividends. This is another one that is being dollar cost averaged into twice a month, once by myself and once by my wife. But you can see that it does fluctuate, but it is slowly going up. Last bit, I did open a automated bond ladder just to test it out with $600. For an automated bond ladder, you will need $500 to open it up. You can walk through the process of setting it up. It will ask you, are you setting this up for a short or long term? In either, you can adjust the length. So short, you have up to, in my case, I did 6 months, but you can play with it to see the maximum tax equivalent yield that you would get. You then have the choice of whether you want to reinvest the money that you get from it or not. And then it will ask you one more time just to make sure you want to do an automated bond ladder if you need the money sooner than what you're putting it in for. And if you say yes, then it's going to try and prompt you for the cash account. Now, based on the returns that I've gotten for this was just a 6 month. And here we can see it's showing me I'm earning the equivalent of 4.62% in total. And my current January to March bonds will get me 4.3%. In total, on the $600 that I've put into here, I made $15.79. Now, this is for somebody who's looking to kind of grow their money a little more than you might get with the cash account. But the cash account plus the bonus almost makes this not quite worth it, in my opinion. If we come over here for the market value, it's going to kind of break things down. So here, earnings $15. I've received interest of $10.48. I have pending interest. And then you also have advisory fee. Now, I do have an advisory fee waiver for this one, but the amount of return that I get versus the cash account where I don't have to worry about paying a fee kind of gives me pause into the utilization of the bond ladder. I probably, once this ladder is done, will just put this back into my cash account and let it do what it does there because I like having access to things sooner anyway. But that has been my 8.5-year update for utilizing Wealthfront as my primary investing vehicle. Now, I did say that if you wanted to get that extra APY boost that you saw right here, I will have a link in the description area below where you can get an extra 0.5% for 3 months on your cash account. Not interested in the cash account? Maybe you're more interested in the investment accounts. I will have a link for that where you can get up to $5,000 managed fee-free for those. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me keep doing videos like this. And the beauty of it is, if you join Wealthfront, you get your own referral links that you could share with your friends and family. With that being said, I have been Wanderer001. If you have found this video helpful, consider giving it a like to help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here and want to be notified of my next review, hit that subscribe button. Still not sure if Wealthfront is the right investment vehicle for you? On screen now, you'll see 2 other reviews that I've done to help you make a more informed decision.